Well, hello there, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Mr. Picard. You may or may not know me. I'm your well-rounded math teacher, and we'll be dominating Algebra 2 the rest of this trimester together. I'm going to be gone this week, but I'm going to be with you in heart, giving you guys a little brief summary of what we're going to be doing every day, and then we'll be working on a worksheet, and you'll be turning it into Schoology on the Dropbox area, and we'll be good to go. I'll check it when I get back. If you get it all done, get it turned in on time, I'll give you 10 out of 10. If you need a little extra time to turn it in and you get it all done, well, I'll probably still give you 10 out of 10. Just do your best and turn in what you can at the end of the hour. 7-1 operations with functions. Basically what we're doing today, today is Monday, we're going to be adding and subtracting functions, and we're going to be looking at this problem right here, selling birdhouses. Carol owns a store where she sells birdhouses. The revenue from the birdhouses sales is given by the function right here, r of x equals 25x, where x equals the number of birdhouses. So basically, if she sells one birdhouse, it'd be 125 times 1, or $125 is what she'd make. If she sold two birdhouses, that'd be 125 times 2, or 250, and you can see where it would go from there. So basically, she's selling her birdhouses for 125 a pop. Pretty spendy if you ask me. Oh well. The cost of making the birdhouses is given by this function, or c of x for cost equals 65x plus 5,400. So basically, if each birdhouse, or x represents the number of birdhouses, again here, if you make one birdhouse at 65 times 1 plus the $5,400. This is the initial cost overhead, and then each birdhouse after that just costs $65 to make, which I'm assuming is wood and a few materials. The 5,400 must be for maybe some machines or a workshop that she's working out of. Anyway, what we want to do is, how much would the how would you find the profit of Carol earns on her sales? The profit Carol earns on her sales. Well, you would take the revenue, the money she makes, r of x, and you'd subtract from it. Here's the revenue, c of x equals 125x, and you'd subtract the cost basically, and cost is 65x plus 5,400. So r of x, revenue, minus the cost, c of x. This is what you do. Basically, you take how much you make and you subtract how much it costs you to make it, and you'd have your little birdhouse profit function. So what our profit function would look like if you looked at it like this, revenue minus cost, well, that'd be 125x, excuse me, minus c of x right here is 65x, and I got to put it in parentheses because you're subtracting the whole thing. And we'll put this in parentheses too. There's my revenue function, there's my cost function. When I subtract them, that would be my profit function. And this is kind of what we're going to be getting into today, adding and subtracting functions. And when you add and subtract functions, you don't really add and subtract the titles. The c of x and the r of x are our titles. You more or less add and subtract the expression part of your functions, and that'd be the 125x and the 65x plus 5,400. Anyway, so let's get into it a little bit here. So first thing is how it's written and understanding terminology here. We're going to add functions. Let f of x and g of x be any two functions. Well, here they are. Here's my f of x function, and here's my g of x function. Those are the two we're going to be working with. And we see some addition here, and we see some subtraction. These are the two we're going to be working with, sums and differences, adding and subtracting, just today. Now, what this means, f plus g and then parentheses x, really how you'd say that is f plus g of x. F plus g of x. And then what that really means is if you're not going to plug a number in for x, you're just going to take the function f of x and add it to the function g of x. So another way of looking, and I know this is kind of confusing, I get it. Another way of looking at this right here really is, it is f of x, whatever that function is, the expression part of it, plus g of x. That's all it is. Well, what we do is this. What is f of x over here? Well, the expression part of it is x plus 2. So in parentheses, I'm going to have x plus 2. And then we're adding right here, so it's going to be plus g of x. Well, g of x is equal to 3x. And the key is that you've done this before. What we're trying to teach you guys today is this, how to work with this notation, it's called, how you write f plus g of x. And there it is. It's basically, when you say f plus g of x, it's f of x plus g of x, and then you just add the two functions. Do I have any like terms here? Yes. X, well, let's go with a different color here. X plus 3x equals 4x. So we're done with those two terms. And the only thing left is this 2 right here. So I'm going to tack that on, plus 2. So there's our answer. That's what f plus g of x equals. Now, whether it's written like this or written like this in the beginning, it means the same thing. You just add the two expression parts of the function. So let's come down here now to the difference right here in red. And what it really means is f minus g of x equals what? You're subtracting the two expression parts of the function. Another way to write this would be f of x minus g of x. And you'll see it written like this on the worksheet, and you'll see it written like this on the worksheet. You basically just take the two expression parts of the function and subtract them. So f of x, first of all, is right here, x plus 2. And I'm going to subtract that from g of x, which is just 3x. Now what you should do, it's being at subtraction. Now there's only one term in here, so you know that's a negative 3x. But if there's more than one term in there, you'd probably go plus a negative 3x. In other words, run a negative through the quantity and then add them up. So combining like terms, again, I have an x here and I have a negative 3x. That's going to give me negative 2x. They're gone. And all I have left here is this plus 2. And there we go. So that's what we're going to be doing today. I'll do a couple more examples here with you guys. Get you going on the right track. Let's go to the next page here. Okay, you're going to be given some functions. Here's the f of x function. Here's the expression part of it. Here's the g of x function. And here's the expression part of it. So when I add and subtract, this is what I'm going to be adding and subtracting from each other, whatever way it's set up. So the way it's set up here, for A, it says f plus g and then of x. The way you'd read it is f plus a g of x. That's how you'd read that. Anyway, it'll be written like this. It'll be in this kind of a notation, which is the same thing as f of x plus g of x. So it doesn't matter which way it's written, you're going to translate it that way. You're going to take the f of x function first, right here, and that's x squared, oops, minus 3x plus 1. And we're going to add to it, right here, the g of x function, 4x plus 5. And we have addition, so we can basically drop parentheses and you can just start combining like terms. If it was subtraction, though, you'd have to run a negative through this second quantity here. But anyway, highest term I see in both of them, here and here, is an x squared. And there's no other x squared terms. So that's going to be the first part of my answer, x squared. There's a negative 3x and a positive 4x. They're like terms. That's the next thing down from an x squared. Negative 3x plus 4x is positive 1x. And now they're gone. And I'm left with a 1 and a 5. Just the constants. Adding them together, I get 6. So there's my answer for this one or this one. They mean exactly the same thing. This notation is basically the same as this notation. It's just written a little bit differently. Okay, so let's look at our last one here. Okay, we're evidently subtracting what functions? The f function and the g function. We're subtracting g of x from f of x. So another way it could be written is f of x, the f of x function, minus g of x. So it's basically the same thing we had before, except now we're subtracting. So f of x is equal to x squared minus 3x plus 1 minus now g of x, 4x plus 5. Okay, got to be careful because we are subtracting here. We got to change that to addition and then run a negative through this quantity right here. So that becomes a negative 4x and a negative 5. Now you can drop the parentheses and combine like terms. Once again, there's only one x squared term. That's done. Now we got a negative 3x plus negative 4x. Negative 3 plus negative 4 is negative 7. So that's negative 7x. And finally, we got positive 1 and a negative 5. 1 plus negative 5 is negative 4. And there you go. We're done. There is our answer for f minus g of x, or f of x minus g of x. They're the same thing. You have Mrs. Breivik and Miss Rolag to help you guys finish up. You can go ahead and turn off your notes now. You can rewind them and watch them again if you want, if there's something you missed. Otherwise, I want you to work on the Monday adding and subtracting functions worksheet. Pull it up out of Schoology, and when you finish up today, put it back into Schoology in the Dropbox, listed as that Monday one, the Monday worksheet. Have a great day. I'm going to go out on the beach now. It's probably about time for me to get ready to go do some sun tanning. We'll talk to you guys later. I'm thinking of you. Have a great time.